What's going on, everybody? Mike McFarland here, the Lake Fork Fishing Guide. Going to give you an Friday, August 19th, 2022 rundown, and things are about to change. I know the other day and the last few have been very redundant, and you've talked about the big worm and deep jig bite and just over and over and over again, the shaky head. You keep hearing the same thing. Well, it's fixing to change, all right? Big time weather coming. Really, this week we've already had some change and some cool down, and I'm going to tell you about it in just a minute, and I'm going to tell you some cool things that you should expect for the next 6 to 8 weeks. All right, so the first thing that you should expect if you haven't been to Lake Fork in a while is very, 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 very low water conditions, 39544. Clarity 0 to 1, temperatures upper 80s, lower 90s, okay? This should all change. Temperatures are most definitely going to change. We get the amount of rain that they say starting Sunday through Friday of next week. It's nothing but rain in the forecast with high percentage of heavy rain. It's what we need. The ground's got to get saturated. The ponds have to get full. But Lake Fork should change. Let's hope for a foot or two. It's going to really make a big difference. It's going to make the lake turn over, but it's going to fill it with fresh water. So there's going to be an immediate balance. The cool trend alone could already have it starting to turn over a little bit. Uniquely enough, we're still going to be extremely low, even with a foot or two of water. Okay, if we get a foot or two increase in the lake, it's better. But the one thing I want to stress, and I just can't stress it enough, is the lake is becoming more and more almost unknown at this level. And two things are happening. Number one, there are stumps popping up in the buoy lanes. So don't feel safe when you're running the buoy lanes. I've been talking about a stump in Little Mustang for over 6-8 weeks. It now sticks out of the water. And Jason Kahn, really good guy, great guy on this lake, he made a post the other day and showed it. And it's right in the lanes. It's where you think you're safe. You're not safe, okay? He actually gave a great post about it. He gave the waypoints of it. And then, as taking off, hit one on takeoff that he didn't even know was still there. So, the buoy lanes are not safe. And here's the main thing. Here's why. Here's one of the reasons why. There's 7.5 foot low. Lake leaves a lot of slack in those buoys. And they have blown and moved off into directions and areas that are no longer the lane itself, okay? So I highly recommend, if you are coming to Lake Fork for the first time, book a guide this fall. Secondly, at least for your first day. Secondly, just do a half-day trip. Just do a navigation-only trip and learn where this stuff is bad. Secondly, don't run the guide lanes. Run easy. Don't run 45 miles an hour or more. If you hit at higher speed, there's more danger for more issues, more wrecks, maybe kill yourself or somebody else. Lower speed, still going to wreck some things, not as bad. So don't run so hard. Pay exclusive attention to what's going on, okay? Pray for rain this week. It will help a lot. But listen, you do need to purchase yourself one of the chips. Lake Fork Marina sells a variety of them, whether it be Lance Vic's, Bow Lanes, Super Trails that I really like, even Billy Lawson's trails. There's a variety of trails there to choose from. I think the Lake Fork Lanes, which is, I can't think of his name, but he's a really nice guy too. He's an ex-Marine. Won't come to me right now. But there's 3 or 4 different versions of safety lanes that you can buy. Choose one of them. They're all pretty darn good, okay? With that being said, I want to tell you some cool stuff. The lake's still fishing good, and with all this rain, it's fixing to fish really good. Okay? These deep fish, these fish that have been suspended because of the thermocline, they're semi-unhappy fish sitting in that thermocline where they have to be, they're going to come to the banks. And if we even get a 2-inch rise, remember I preach it all year long in the spring, rising water rises the fish. Falling water points them out. We get 2-3 inches of rise in this lake whatsoever. Hopefully it's more. The fish are going to come to the lakes. They're coming to the shorelines, okay? So I want to talk to you about a couple things that are really cool. Shell beds, shell beds, shell beds, shell beds. They've been the key of this lake. They've been the key of most of the South. The pros are really starting to finally talk about it. This has been a huge, huge secret that's been kept for years. They've known more about it than they've talked about. I'm going to refer you to some of the archive that I talked about. Go back in my YouTube archive and learn about shell beds. And there was a new one that just came out today that's probably the best shell bed discussion, lesson, what they are, what they mean, how they affect the lake that I've ever seen, even better than what I've done by far, and that's Fish the Moment. Go look at the Fish the Moment YouTube channel. The guy's amazing. He really, truly is. And he did a very, very exclusive, I kind of want to chuckle. I know I started this fire, but it doesn't mean other people can't throw logs on the fire. And he really threw the right logs on the fire talking about these shells. Okay, the mussel beds and the small clam beds are going to be huge this fall when this water rises. I really want you to understand that those fish are going to come up. They're going to come up to those feeding grounds and those feeding tables, which on Lake Fork are shell beds. Okay, in this bag right here, I got a whole bunch of fall goodies. This is my fall bag. All right, I'm not going to share it with you today because I'm going to actually use this to try and promo you to go to my members only channel. I'm fixing to do a members only rundown after this one, and I'm going to open this bag and show everybody what I'm going to be using as soon as this fall transition happens, as soon as this water comes up. In this bag are a bunch of goodies. And here's three, you can see the backside of them, but 3 colors of power baits that absolutely will catch these fish all fall for the next 6 to 8 weeks. This is my goodie bag. I'm looking forward to it. If you want to know what it is, go subscribe to my members only channel. It's $4.99 a month. You lose more baits. You burn 1 gallon of gas. It costs more than a whole month's subscription to learn all my goodies, all my secrets, and the spots that I'm fishing on Lake Fork. So this is a little teaser. I want you to know what's in this bag. There's quite a bit of good stuff in this bag. Members only. Members only, okay? Another quick thing I do want to share with you that I think is pretty cool. In this little gadget bag right here, before my boat went to the Skeeter factory, I was fishing in some really deep water. And my client pulled up a bunch of line, as we do. We pull up so much line in Lake Fork. And this particular line was attached to a very cool bait. And I don't know how well you'll be able to see this, but this is an old, original Sluggo. It looks like it was a black back, silver bottom. It looks like a shad color. It's got a glass rattling bead stuffed on the side of it. And believe it or not, it had been underwater for a long, long time. It came out of water, dried up and hard. I couldn't believe it. Usually in the water, they swell up and get, real soft and gooey and mucky and huge. Well, this must have been long enough to go the opposite. It probably swelled up and shrunk later in years. But this Sluggo had been underwater a long, long time. And it was just kind of unique to see it, an old school bait. Man, we used to use these back in the 70s, 80s, more like the 80s, probably 80s, 90s transition. It was a huge, very important bait all across the nation, the Sluggo. And the reason I'm telling you this, I wanted to share this cool moment of finding one underwater like that. But Roger Belk and Go Fish Lures just made a post, and it's unique, timely, perfect timely. Not only is his storage facilities, his bait shop all underway and running, he's got his cafe that's going to be opened up in September for food and drinks, but he has produced the Sluggo. I believe he has 2 sizes. It looked like a 6-inch and a 4.5-inch. He had multiple colors, but if you want to go old school, you want to use the Sluggo again, it's a great fall bait. It's an awesome fall bait. Anything dying shad, anything shad oriented, that's what I'm going to show you in a second if you're members. But any of those type of baits, so go check out Go Fish Lures, gofishlures.com. Roger Belk, he's done an incredible job producing all kinds of soft plastic baits, but he's absolutely, in my opinion, hit the home run by reproducing the Sluggo. We're going to catch a lot of fish on that, and the fish haven't seen it in many years. All right? So with that being said, guys, listen, hit the like button below, comment below if you will. Ask any questions you have below. I'd sure love to see you do that. And I'll do my best to answer those the best I can. If you have any ideas for future lessons or anything, please also put those in the comments. And if you haven't watched the thermocline/turnover lesson, you need to go do it now because it's about to happen. And knowing what happens and understanding what happens to the body of water will help you apply yourself much better this fall, and you catch a lot more fish, especially in the lakes like Lake Fork, these shallow lakes, Sam Rayburn, Toledo Bend, anywhere in the south where we have shallow lake turnover. All right? I appreciate you so much. I'm Mike McFarland giving you a Lake Fork rundown.